Welcome back, everyone, to an episode of Sportsfellas.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
It's your Buckeye believing, Houday hopeful, Captain Chris with a K.
It's your ring chasing, Sooner Nation, tomahawk chopping, boy Driz. Yeah, I thought I had to bring that up.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Taylor coming back. We're going. Let's go Ravens.
Hey, Big Don here representing the Raider Nation. Let's go, baby.
This is your Rocky Mountain High Denver Bronco Prosper. Hopefully we win the division. Probably not.
Boo.
This is your host, Carlos. You guys, we are finally here kicking off the NFL 2024 season. The 24-25 season, just making sure. You guys, we are going to talk about the AFC North. Also, we're going to talk about the Stanley Cup Finals champions. Also, the NBA Final champions as well in upcoming shows. So before we dive in, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, why don't you check out She Barber Cuts Barbershop and give Markeisha Brown, the licensed professional barber there, a call at 316-218-3566 for all your haircut needs. She's got cuts for kids, adults, and for those looking for the good one, the deluxe with beard trims, wash, and hot towels. So don't forget to give Markeisha a call at She Barber Cuts and see her at 2319 North Ridge, Barber Suite 6A here in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay, let's kick off with the Hangry Polar recaps. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers for capturing their first Stanley Cup championship.
Good series, good series.
It was a great series. They beat Edmonton Oilers. It was a good run, but Florida finally got their Stanley Cup, so congratulations to them. As well, in the NBA Finals, 18-time champion, Don, hold on, you're getting a little frisky here. Your Boston Celtics capturing their 18th title, defeating, well, my team, the Dallas Mavericks. So congratulations to Boston. And so that kind of puts the Lakers behind. How do you feel, Don?
Well, based on the team we had set up, they just wanted a chance for us to do anything this year. So hopefully next year, if they can get it together, try to make a run. But right now, the West is looking too tough. But we're just going to have to see.
Did any of you guys watch the game?
No, I listened to the headlines.
The series, most of it. It was a good, Boston was definitely the better team in the series. They had more all-around talent, and pretty much Luka, if he had a bad night, it was pretty much over. I didn't think Irving really showed much of anything like he did the series before.
He always struggles against them.
And Boston just played really solid. Like there was no, Tatum did well and all, but it was just they played really solid.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, yes. Well, congratulations to them now. So hopefully, once the new season comes with all the trades and everything, maybe perhaps we'll see a new champion. Who knows? We'll see. All right. We want to announce as well, we're going to be having some new upcoming shows as well. Stay tuned on that. And those are for opportunities for our listeners or viewers. If you guys need to put out any ads or anything, give us a contact, give us a holler, and we'll kind of get you in, and we'll go from there. All right, so before we dive into the 2024 AFC North, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
With spring here and all the storms on their way, you need to make sure you have the proper home, auto, and all your properties insured. We here at Razor Cut Information just can't get enough of our favorite insurance man, Ernie Ruelas. Please visit Ernie and his State Farm agency at 11330 East Central Avenue, Suite 400, Wichita, Kansas, 316-682-2300. Thank you so much, Ernie.
All right, guys, here we are. We're going to kick it off with the AFC North. We have two of our guys here, big Bengals fan, Chris.
Hey, Houday.
And then we got the Dirty Bird over here and Taylor Made over here. So before we get into the teams, let's kick off with the Dog Pound, the Cleveland Browns. Let's do a little recap with them. Well, last year, hey, they were 11-6. They made the playoffs
with Joe Flacco.
With the early exit, they lost to the favored Houston Texans. So, Chris, let's kick off with them. What do you see Cleveland Browns doing this year?
They might be close to the same. It's going to depend on the quarterback situation. They don't have Joe Flacco to fall back on this year. Is Watson going to make a leap? Is he going to come back and finally start playing? We'll see. I'm not even sure who's backing them up. Do you know, Tyler?
They signed Tyler Huntley from the Ravens.
Okay, so he's backing up
not saying much,
Watson. Well, he's all right. He could start for him, and I mean, they got a great coach. I think Kevin Stefanski is. I mean, look what he did last year. Like, yeah, seems to be a really good coach. Obviously, I think the Browns are probably going to revert a little bit more towards the Browns of old. Probably the more playing time they give Watson, the worse it's going to be. I'm not a fan of Watson.
I'm actually looking at their roster right now. They also got Jameis Winston. They picked him up, it looks like. So, I think they're going to be pretty good, man. This division, for me, is up for grabs for 3 teams. I don't believe in Pittsburgh. The other 3 teams, I feel like it could be anybody's division. And the Browns is one of them. They're included. It just really depends on the starting quarterback and how he does, man. So I think they got a great offense, an amazing running back room, great defense. It just really depends on who that starting quarterback is and how much he can produce.
I'm just going to agree with, him right there. It just all depends on the rest of the teams in the division. Everybody's picking Cincinnati right now to be the favorite to win that division, but I'm not sure because without a decent running back, the rest of the teams, even Pittsburgh is going to be better than what everybody think they are. Because if Russell Wilson gets them going, then, you never know because the whole division is going to be up there above 500. So Cleveland, their defense is going to be the same. Keep them going, keep them in a lot of games. It just depends. Like, Chris said with Deshaun Watson, how he gets the team moving offensively.
Yeah, I think another thing is just, are we going to see a healthy Nick Chubb after that knee injury last year? We'll see what, if he can come back from that. But, they've got a solid defense. They've got Garrett. They've got Denzel Ward. They've got good receivers with Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy now. But, yeah, which Deshaun Watson are we going to see?
If at all.
And those are all valid points. And the way I see with Cleveland is especially on the defensive side, Cleveland has given the AFC North a hard time. And Cleveland is not a pushover. And especially with the defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, and what he has done is literally kept Cleveland in those games. There was a couple of the games where they could have won, but if it wasn't for the offensive side. But adding, like what Taylor said, adding Jared Jeudy, and then also don't forget the Njoku's still there, and then with Chubb coming back, is Kareem Hunt still playing?
I think Kareem Hunt he went somewhere else. I think.
He
went.
Okay.
He left in free agency.
They got a good running back.
Chubb is coming back, and then
they got Naheem Hines, Deontay Foreman, Jerome Ford. I mean, they got a good
Hines
good
is
group.
a great.
Yeah, they got a
he's
good
bold
group.
running
They
back.
have a lot of depth, is the thing.
And so again, this is the best division in the NFL. And right now, Deshaun Watson, what is he going to bring? That's the question that I ask myself and to the Cleveland Brown fans. That, hey, what are you guys going to bring this year? Because it's up for grabs. You've demonstrated you can beat the Bengals. That's always a 50-50 shootout. You're not intimidated by the Ravens because, I mean, you've gone in there. And so the Steelers, it's always kind of here and there. But I like the Browns. Am I going to say they're going to win the division? We have to wait to see on that. But if these guys play their cards right, this is another team that we might see them again going into the wild card. So that's my take on them. So let's go ahead and move on over to the next team, the Iron Curtain, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chris's second favorite team in his heart. He doesn't want to admit it, but it's okay. We're not here to judge. Shout out to all our Pittsburgh Steeler fans. We miss you. Our boy Eric is out there in Turkey right now, representing the Steeler Nation out there. So Eric, a lot of love. We miss you, my friend. All right, so last year they were 10-7. They made the playoffs, but had an early exit, losing to the Buffalo Bills. So Don, I'm gonna kick it off with you. What do you see Pittsburgh doing this year?
Well, based on the roster they picked up with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, we know Justin Fields is going to be the backup for now. But Russell Wilson, he's supposed to get that offense moving, but I'd have to see how they look when that first game starts to see whether or not I can see an improvement. Defensive-wise, their defensive front's good. Secondary, they're so-so. So it's like we just got to wait and see. Are they going to be midway in the division or back down to the bottom?
Did Cam Hayward come back okay from his injury? Didn't he get injured at the end of last year?
Yeah, I think he's back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with Don. I think it's going to come down a lot to the offense. Obviously, T.J. Watt is always a pain to deal with. Hayward in the middle. They've got Fitzpatrick still on the back end. They've got a good defense, solid Steelers, typical defense, I'd say, for the most part. It's going to be really, like you said, like we'll come down to Russell Wilson. Fields, I don't know. I mean, they were talking about, like, I don't watch enough, like, closely with Steelers, but I saw headlines of, like, oh, we're going to use him as a kick returner and things like that. And, like, is that, like, I don't know what that says about him as far as a QB at that point, but we'll see what Russell Wilson. I thought he was going to do better in Denver. I was wrong there. I hope I'm wrong that he's going to do better in Pittsburgh too.
Man, I don't know. There's too many question marks for me. Compared to the other 3 teams, there's too many questions on if they'll do good. You know, are we going to get Denver Russell Wilson, or are we going to get Seattle Russell Wilson? Are we going to get, you know, any production from any of the receivers? Because they have a decent receiver core, but they don't have any superstars. They have people that have people to need things to prove. Only one that's really there is George Pickens, but, like, I don't know. To me, there's too many questions, and they're probably going to go over 500 and maybe clinch a playoff spot. Who knows?
Yeah, kind of like going back to what Gerson said, there's just too many what ifs, I think. I mean, sure. I mean, they could do well, but, I mean, the lack of overall offensive talent is just not in their favor in this pass-happy league. I mean, Najee, Pickens aren't superstars. What version of Wilson are we going to see? I mean, they might go 500. I don't know I don't see them going much better than that.
You know, the Steelers, they're like my emotions. It's up and down. I don't understand. You go in, you lose the first game of the season, you lose to San Francisco, which is okay. I understand that.
Good team.
Then you lose to the Cardinals, but yet you beat Baltimore. Then you beat Buffalo, but you're just never consistent on your win. But that's why bringing in Russell Wilson, now they have someone that can command the field, you know, being able to just be a game manager of a player. Now, one thing I do ask, Fitzpatrick didn't even have an interception last year, and he's usually always up top on getting his interceptions. And so now, with Pittsburgh going in, they're looking from the bottom up right now and having to look like, okay, now we have Baltimore that just went to the AFC Championship. We've got Joe Burrow coming back with Cincinnati, so the nightmare comes back again. And so right now, you know, proud Steeler Nation fans that are out there, understanding that the grip is looking far away, the view of being able to even capture the division. So if they're going to get in there, it's probably going to be a wild card. I don't see them winning the division. I mean, as cruel as it sounds, it's just that to me, and that's something that relates back to what Tristan said, there's a lot of holes. And it's something that we have to look at. It's maybe is Coach Tomlin, is his coaching style getting a little outdated? Is it the Steeler Nation that focus so much, they take pride in their defense? Is it maybe for once, maybe they need to go back and say, hey, we need to start switching up? Because look at it. The AFC North is defense. That's what they pride on, defense and running the ball. And this is something that the Steelers are going to have to change. And if it doesn't work, are we going to maybe see the last year of Mike Tomlin? We have to ask ourselves that question.
Yeah.
I don't think so, man.
I mean, it might be like, oh, he's on the hot seat next year.
Yeah.
But if he hasn't had a losing season yet, ever, as a head coach. So
it's just he tends to stick out of the lines. You know,
he's
might
just been
trip
very
you a little
mediocre,
bit.
like you said. He's really up and down, losing to teams you don't think
And
you're
then he
going to
gets
lose
out on
to.
the field when he's not supposed to.
He-
That's
well,
we'll keep
that's
that under
just in
wraps.
playoff games,
Only when it matters.
only against the Bengals.
All right. Well, speaking of the Bengals, next up we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome to the jungle. Chris's first favorite team. Chris, your team, unfortunately, did go above 500. Had dealt with injuries. You went 9-8, didn't make the playoffs. So, Chris, I'm gonna kick it off with you. What do you see your team doing this year?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some bounce back. They've made some good changes to the defense. We led the league in, unfortunately, allowing the most yards per pass and the most explosive plays. So those aren't things you want to lead the league in for your defense. But they took. We'll be talking about the Ravens here in a minute. One of their key losses was to us, so always good to take a key loss from a division rival. Picking up Geno Stone in the secondary, who I think led the Ravens and maybe the league for safeties at least in interceptions. He had, I think, 7 or so. And then we brought back Von Bell, who was our Chiefs killer. We might remember a few years ago, he was in the right spot at the right time. Got that interception in overtime. So, he knocked the ball, and then the other safety got it. But anyway, so I think we've done some things there. Drafted heavy on the defensive line to try to replace DJ Reader. Not that he's replaceable; he's a great player, but I think we've possibly sealed up some of those holes, bringing in some veterans as well. I think the secondary looks strong. Defensively, I think we're going to see a little bit better team, which was a big Achilles heel last year, aside from Burrow being out. And then on that side, to kind of flip it, to help Burrow out some, they brought in now Trent Brown, who was a Patriots longtime guy, has a couple Super Bowls. He's another 6'8", 370, I think is what he is. He's huge. Drafted another big kid in the first round. We'll see how he goes. Hopefully he can learn from these big guys. Orlando Brown on the other side, another huge guy. We've got both 6'8" tackles on either side. So hopefully we can keep Burrow upright and healthy this year. If so, I think the sky's the limit. Higgins signed his franchise tag, so he's in for the year. Probably will be his last year in Cincinnati, but he's playing for more money next year, so hopefully he has a great year, stays healthy. So,
yeah, I mean, I think they'll compete for division for sure. I assume Burrow's going to go into the season healthy.
Yeah, he was throwing at mandatories. I mean, I think he's still just like on a. He's expected training camp day one to be in there, and might take a couple breaks here and there. But
who is there since they lost Mixon? Who's going to be their running back?
They picked up Zach Moss from Indianapolis, and then they had last year drafted Chase Brown, who towards the end of the year was really starting to hit. He had a couple big touchdown receptions, a lot of yards after catch. So he's a quick kid.
Yeah, I think if they can protect Burrow. I mean, he's going to do what he does best, just pick apart defenses. They've got Chase. Higgins should be healthy. And then, I mean, that defense, like you were saying, if they even improve just a little bit, they should be a pretty good team.
I don't know, man. It's a little more doom and gloom for me, man. So, y'all lost Joe Mixon. Zach Moss, he's good. He's not.
He's
Joe
just
Mixon.
going to be they're not going to be running
and
like that.
Y'all
That's
lost
not that offense.
An elite receiver. Y'all still got 2 good receivers, but I don't know. I see y'all fighting for second or third place in the division. That's all I got to say. But I just don't like the Bengals, and I don't see y'all going that far. Okay, that's all I got to say about
2024.
them.
He's still here, man. He's still here.
Find your own rivals. We got enough in our division.
So yeah.
I think it's going to be based on their run game. If they can't get a good run game going, regardless what Burrows, if he's got good weapons to throw to, it just depends if they can run the ball. Because if they can't run the ball, eventually they're going to start getting the Burrow. And if he can't stay healthy, then I feel that goes their season right there, just like last year because of the injuries.
And I'm going to go the other way on this. I'm going to go back to the offense. Burrow is back. Now it's the tempo that's going to be implemented when they're playing. Protect Joe Burrow. Establish the passing game. Because, especially with Joe Mixon gone, you're going to feel the difference. But they're going to have to improvise. The tight ends are going to – and then also, too, what wide receiver left already?
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd. Okay.
He was the third receiver.
He was great to watch in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Where did he end up going?
2. I don't know if he signed anywhere or not. Just saying.
Now, how
I know that Pittsburgh was looking at him earlier in the offseason, but from what I saw, that he could never get anything
how
worked
is
out.
Jamar Chase working out? How's that going with his contract? Because there was a lot of disgruntled going on.
I think he's okay for this year. I mean, they got him for his 5th year, which would be next year, but that's why they're not signing Higgins. They're going to sign Jamar next year too. Bigger than Jefferson's contract is what they're going to be doing.
What I ask myself with the Cincinnati Bengals is that, with Joe Burrow and everyone going in, they invested heavy on Joe Burrow, and which is fine. I understand, Super Bowl took them there.
Well, and speaking of that, though, I almost forgot, losing the receiver, though, we also picked up Gesicki, Mike Gesicki, who's basically a slot receiver. He had a down year with the Patriots last year, but
it was the Patriots.
Yeah,
we don't blame him.
What
for
was
that.
thrown to him? And then we also got a third-round draft pick, Jermaine Burton out of Alabama.
Roll
Looks pretty
Tide.
good. Couple guys that we had picked up last year that might fill in. So I feel pretty good about the depth of the wide receiver room, really. I mean, you got the top two that are two number ones,
And your
basically.
guys' schedule is not as bad this year.
Well, yeah, we were
Cincinnati's got
at
a
9 and
real
8.
big-
We were the fourth team in the division, so that's why AFC North is the best division.
So yeah, so the way I see it, like I said, back to what I was saying, Joe Burrow is going to be the key. Browning did a great job too as a backup. I mean, he
Yeah,
did okay.
yeah. Oh, and he'll be
It's
the
just-
backup this year, and he did really well for. He's had a long road. He, I think, was a Green Bay draft pick or Minnesota or something like that. Practice squatter for probably 3 or 4 years before becoming the official backup, and yeah, he did for a backup. Like, I don't know what that you could ask for a whole lot more than what he did. Like, he was about 500 in his backup games, which is. I mean, aside from the one game when he came in real early in that Ravens game, like he got tore up on that. He wasn't ready. First game NFL on a Thursday night at the Ravens, like those are big shoes to walk into. So, yeah.
And so pretty much now that wraps that up. I look forward to you guys in all white jerseys. That's going to be nice this year. And so that's going to be pretty cool. Moving on over to your second place AFC champions. The Dirty Birds, the Baltimore Ravens. Gotta love the Ravens. Ravens finished off last year as the AFC North winners, 13-4. They won their division, but they lost to Kansas City at home. That's kind of
Yep.
embarrassing.
Chiefs Kingdom, baby.
All right. Before the shots are fired, we just want to say, shout out to all our Raven fans. Shout out to our guy here, Taylor, represent the Raven fans as well. Grim, go Ravens. I know you want your Ravens to do something, and so we'll leave it at that. So we're going to kick it off with you, Taylor. What do you think you guys are going to do this year?
Hey, we're going to run the ball. That's what we're going to do.
I hope so.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Derrick Henry solves a lot of problems. So, yeah, I think we're going to be, competing for the division, for sure. Defensively, we didn't really lose a whole lot. I mean, we lost Geno Stone, but we just signed Eddie Jackson a couple days ago. He should be a good replacement. We got Kyle Hamilton, who's an ascending star. We drafted a cornerback, so I think our secondary is a good strength. We got Roquan Smith, linebacker, and then we've got a decent D-line. So I think we're pretty good defensively. Obviously, the signing of Henry is going to be huge for us. As long as he stays healthy and continues to, beat Father Time, he should be a good asset for us. Zay Flowers looked good as a rookie. He should, continue to ascend.
Gotta
And,
work on not fumbling though.
Yep. Yeah. Well, hey, Snead's no longer a Chief, so it should be good. And then, when you have an elite QB like Lamar, anything's possible for your team. So I'm looking forward to a successful season.
Well, like I said, they're pretty much the same team from last year, except for the addition of Derrick Henry, to run people over. So it's going to be, how do you stop either Lamar or do you stop Derrick? And let's not forget they got two great tight ends, and I can't even say their names right now, but
Mark Andrews.
Andrews and what was it back
Likely.
at Likely. So if you got, with both of them back, on the field at the same time, you might have some multiple options to go with. So, that offense just got a little better. Defensively wise, I know that y'all lost that linebacker to Pittsburgh.
Yep, we did lose Quinn.
And so that
And
might,
Jadeveon Clowney done.
so that might hurt them defensively
Pittsburgh?
a little bit. But, the defensive, they shouldn't be hurt too much. But offensively, like I said, it's going to get even better. So I don't see what could stop them from winning the AFC again.
Yeah, it'll be a good battle. I mean, I feel like Bengals Ravens were pretty back and forth. I would hesitate to say, but I bet our overall records are fairly close to 500 against each other. I think it'll probably be something similar to that this year. Either two really close games for one, or a split game. I think their offense is scary. We'll see what happens. We tend to do pretty well boxing Lamar in most of the time. Have had pretty good success, so Anxious for that, but I sure hope they do well against Kansas City that first week.
Nah, I don't think so. Not against my team. You have to know my team. Then that would just be a repeat. No, I don't have a lot of bad things to say. So the Ravens are one of the few teams I feel like are good, and I have a lot of respect for. Like Bengals, no. Chargers, no. Bills, no. Like all those other teams, I don't care. But Ravens, I actually like, and I think they got a stacked team. I did say earlier, I think this division's up for grabs. Pretty much every team's great, but in my opinion, the Ravens are the most likely winners. They're stacked. They're like with Derrick Henry, they're just like S tier. You know, they're a crazy team now, and they really didn't lose anything. You know, you have Lamar Jackson come off his MVP year and stacked defense and offense. Man, they're a scary team. They're one of the teams that I'm scared of, and that's saying a lot, bro, because I'm not scared of a lot of teams. So,
like how scared, like the Black Swan when the Crow was going after Natalie Portman, or just scary football team?
Or like
both.
That was scary. I was scared. That crow was pretty vicious. Or the crow that you watch when you're going shopping. But look, here's the thing, and Driston, great points. Now, you know, Taylor, we've known each other for some years now. I'm just gonna give it to you 100. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna just be sincere with you. Tell Lamar, you're probably hearing the show. You know, you're a great player. Lamar, stop throwing the ball. Just stop when you have the tempo going. It's the Chiefs that last year game. I watched it. You guys had the tempo going in the run game, and then you got away from it, and that's the Achilles every single time. Look at the Super Bowl, the 49ers, the Super Bowl against the Eagles, and they start throwing. If you guys are going to do something, you guys got to understand the Chiefs, that they are the best team to make adjustments. And the thing is, you let the Chiefs go in when you guys were dominating purple, black, and some gold, and then you let a puddle of red go in there, and next thing you know it, there they went.
A sea of red. Come on.
Yeah, it was. Well, let's stick to puddles. Let's just explain it that way. But here's the thing. Let's look at it like this. Let's look at the positive things. Yes, Derrick Henry is going to bring balance on the run game. Gotcha. Tight end, dual tight end system. Keep Mark Andrews. You can tell when Mark Andrews wasn't there, you saw that Lamar was losing that trust factor that was in there. And yes, don't get me wrong, they picked up Odell at that time, but was he really a factor? I don't think so. But especially, and now you lost Hollywood Brown going to the Chiefs. I mean, I know it's going to probably look good in red. I get it. But here's the thing. Baltimore this year has to focus a lot on the defensive side. And one of the key losses that you guys had that made me question just a little bit is when you guys lost to the Colts. You guys were giving, critical plays. And the thing is with Lamar, I'm not saying Lamar don't, throw the ball. You still got to do what you got to do. But you got to control the tempo of the game. They can do it, and I appreciate what Driston said. They're just shooting themselves. They can win, and not necessarily the Chiefs necessarily beat the Ravens. They just beat them in a manner like, hey, we beat you defensively. That's all we did. Because offensively, you guys were going up and down the field on them, but to say that you guys dominated, not necessarily. Because this is the team that beat the NFC champions, the San Francisco 49ers. They dominated against the Miami Dolphins. And, so it's kind of like you beat some great teams, but then you played the Chiefs, and they just stripped your identity. Jadeveon didn't even get to Patrick Mahomes, really. Patrick Mahomes is just a seasoned veteran player now.
And we also do got a great O-line.
Yeah, so got to hand, and especially we got Chris Jones on the other side, and it was.
We'll be talking about all those guys later. We don't need to give too much on this
we
show.
don't want to throw it away, but for now, this is the AFC North is the best team in my,
division
in the whole league, the AFC and the NFC put together. So that's my take on that. So that wraps up, you guys. Before we do that, who do you choose for now? Who do you think will win the division?
Right now, Baltimore.
I got to go Bengals.
Baltimore.
Is that a trick question?
Come on, man.
The Browns. Okay. No, he's going for the Ravens. Okay, for now, I'm going to take the Bengals.
There you go.
I'm going to go for the
There you
Bengals.
go.
But I will say the Ravens will be in the playoffs, and guess what? I'd rather, if you guys know your history, Baltimore, when they won both of their Super Bowls, they were wild card teams. So I feel if they're more scarier as a team going into the wild card. For some reason, it didn't work for them being at home. And now that, back to his team, that you guys had the whole Super Bowl ran through Arrowhead, and they didn't have it this year. So it goes to show now they got the experience. Same thing with the Bengals. The Bengals can go to anybody's house and beat them.
We've done it a couple times.
Just one time, but don't ever
To
say
anybody.
don't ever say Burrowhead, because that's a wrap.
We did it at the Bills. We did it at the Chiefs. We've done it at Tennessee. We've beat a few at their place.
That was before. But anyway, so we'll wrap that up on that. So next up, we'll let you know on the next division what we'll do. What division should we do next, guys? What would we
Have we already done the South, AFC?
We haven't done it. This is the first one.
Let's do the AFC South. I think that's interesting.
Hopefully our friend, hey, shout out to Chuck. Shout out to Kyle. Hopefully they come in because we got some Colts and Texan fans. So let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Well, I don't know about you folks, but here at Sportsfellas, things can get, a nice right funk going on sometimes. And in that time of need, we turn to our friend Kimberly Sampson, our own personal Cincy independent consultant. She is our favorite star consultant, so for your scent needs, get a hold of Kimberly at heavenlyscentswithkim@gmail.com or visit her website, heavenlyscentswithkim.cincy.us. You can also call her at 316-282-7363. That's Kimberly Sampson at Cincy, our favorite independent consultant.
All right, you guys, that concludes the AFC North. You guys, as we said before, we will dive into the other divisions in the conference as well. Stay tuned with with baseball. We're going to give you some updates on that. Hockey season will come back here pretty soon. We're just going to talk a lot of sports there. And also, do not forget, we are going to give away tickets for Deadpool and Wolverine. So we will do that giveaway that day. So that day, all you have to do is like, subscribe, follow in on TikTok, follow in on Facebook, and follow us on YouTube as well. Razor Cut Information. Any shout-outs before we go, Don?
Just shout out to the fellows here for getting together to get the season started right.
I got a few shout outs. We got the Olympics coming up, so shout out Team USA. Go USA. A couple other shout outs. Euro Cup champion Spain, way to go. 2-1 over England. And Copa America champions Argentina in extra minutes. That was a fantastic game. So way to go. Can't wait to watch these Olympics and World Cup in a couple years.
Shout out to my Oklahoma Sooners. I can't wait to shake up the SEC this year.
Yeah, shout out to all you guys. I mean, for all you guys who've been with us from the beginning, we appreciate it, and we look forward to providing more content.
Thank you so much, too, Ted. Appreciate that. No, thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Eric and Pal, making it happen, and Dalen as well. You guys, we're going to kick off the season right. We're going to do some amazing things. And, again, I want to thank our listeners for staying with us as well. Thanks to all the friends and family that tune in as well. So stay tuned. And, you guys, get ready. These new channels are coming right back, especially the cutting crew. So stay tuned. Okay, until then, we'll see y'all later. We're out.